Hey y'all, it's Miss Lucas here. Today we're going to be talking to our saxophone friends. And this is going to apply to a soprano, alto, tenor, bari, and if we have a bass saxophone. So, of course, the only difference besides their mass is going to be that our alto and bari friends are going to play in the key of E flat, which means if we have our fingerings down for C, we're going to hear an E flat. So it's going to be this note, not a C. And then our soprano and tenor friends are going to be playing in the key of B flat, which means if they are playing a C on their instrument, their fingerings for C, it's going to sound like a B flat, not a C. So let's get right to it. Let's get to opening up our case. So here is our case. We're just going to open it. If we have our Yamaha instrument, the Yamaha is going to be facing up, the logo. We just pop that bad boy open and we're going to see two parts, technically three. So we have, of course, we have the main body of our saxophone. Then we also have the neck, our mouthpiece, and then our neck strap. So before we get out our saxophone, let's go ahead and put on our neck strap. And our neck strap is going to want to be tightened to the actual body of the instrument. So once we hook that bad boy on, we're going to adjust it as soon as we put the neck on. But I'm just going to keep it strapped in so I can leave it down like this at my lap. Once I take out the neck, we're going to make sure that this little screw right here is loosened so that I can put this on. And this is just going to face me. Need to loosen it just a little more. There we go. And it's going to face me just like this. You don't want it to be sideways because you don't play your saxophone like this. You play it straight up in between your legs. You can also play it off to the side, but then you're going to kind of like lean into it. That's mostly for our tenor and bari sax players. Altos, let's just keep them in front of us in between our legs. And of course, soprano, it's going to be even smaller, so it's going to play more like a clarinet. You can hold it. Awesome. Now, once we have that on there, let's go ahead and get out our reed. And of course, we want to soak our reed. So just pop it in your mouth like that. While your reed is soaking, I'm going to talk about the neck strap. So our neck strap, we want the mouthpiece to come directly to our mouth. So I don't have my mouthpiece on yet, but you see how it's directly facing my mouth? That's how we want our neck strap to be tightened. So go ahead and pause the video. You can tighten your neck strap. I'm going to go ahead and soak my reed. So now that our reed is soaked, we're going to put it on the mouthpiece. Make sure that our ligature, which is the little metal part, sometimes there'll be different materials, but it's the part that holds the reed on. Make sure that is already on and you just slide your reed in. We don't want to chip our reed. We don't want to have to buy so many reeds. So once we got that slid in there, we're going to make sure that it is right at the top of the mouthpiece with just the littlest bit poking above the reed. I'm just fine tuning it a little bit. And then our ligature is going to slide just at the thick part right there. You see where the little curve is? It's going to go right below that and we're going to tighten it. You don't have to tighten it too much, but just make sure that your reed is not going to slip. Once we do this, we're going to pop up our instrument and just go ahead and slide that bad boy on. Not too far in, just like a 1/4 of an inch. And then we have our instrument together. So now we're going to be talking about embouchure, and for this, all we need is our neck and our mouthpiece. The rest of our instrument can go at our lap. And we're going to be talking about embouchure, like I said. That is how our mouth is around the instrument, how our mouth looks, and what muscles are we using. So for saxophone, we are going to put our lip just as a cushion on the bottom. We're not going to wrap it or anything. It's just going to be a cushion on the reed. We're not going to touch our teeth to the reed, just the lip. On the top, we are going to touch our teeth. Touch, not bite. We don't want to eat the saxophone. Our teeth to the top of the mouthpiece. So it should be like this. Now we can't play like that because the air is going to escape. So imagine a drawstring bag, how it kind of cinches in and it kind of looks like this. That's what we're going to do with our lips around the mouthpiece. Just like that. They're not too firm, it's very relaxed. Now the inside of our mouth should be kind of open. Our jaw should be open, and that's called our aperture, how much air is getting through. So see how my mouth kind of looks a little bit more long? That's what the inside of our mouth is doing. And that's how we play on our mouthpiece. And the note that we should be playing is a G. So if we can play the G, we know we're right, and we can put that on our instrument and start playing our notes. So let's do that together. So now that we have that neck G in tune, we're gonna make it mezzo piano and airy. Still starting the note, not just you just hear air and then there's a note. Make sure that we're still starting with the tongue. What do I mean by that? The tongue is going to touch the tip of the reed, and that's how you're going to start the note. And you see how it kind of sounds a little more airy, but that G is still there. We want that noise or that sound, because when we put our mouth or our neck back on the instrument, we don't want to just honk through the ensemble. We want to sound nice and pretty. Now that we have our neck G, we're going to pop this bad boy on our instrument and get to start playing real notes. So now that we have our full saxophone together, we're going to learn where to put our hands. So if we look at the back of our instrument, there's going to be a little hook right here. That's where our right hand thumb is going to go. And then our fingers are going to go on each of the pearls. On the left hand, there's going to be a little plate back here. That's where our thumb goes. Make sure it's able to move around and roll, because we need to hit this octave key sometimes. Make sure we're not pressing any of the side keys over here. So we're keeping, like if we were drinking a cup of water, we're going to keep that space in between. And we're going to remember New York, New York. So that means no, yes, no, yes. This one follows. And those are going to be the keys that we naturally rest on for our saxophone. And of course, this is an alto sax, so I'm between my legs, and the mouthpiece sits right in front of my mouth. So now we're going to learn our fingering for our concert B flat. For my alto and bari sax players, that is going to be 1, 2, 3. This isn't touching anything in the back, and our right hand is just going to chill over the notes. So this is our concert B flat, but our written G. So when we see a G on the staff, this is the note we're playing, but it's not going to sound like a G, because a G sounds like this. It's going to sound like a B flat. So let's play it real quick. Awesome. For my soprano and tenor sax players, that is going to be our C, which is New York, New York. It's going to be our second finger right on the top. And again, our right hand is just chilling over these notes at the bottom, or these keys at the bottom. The thumb is not pressing anything back here as well. We're just going to be playing our C, but it is our concert B flat. So instead of hearing a C, we're going to hear a B flat, just like our alto and bari sax players. So let's play that concert B flat, our G and our C together. So now that we know the fingering, let's talk about what the mouth is going to be doing. So we're going to do legato and staccato today. And legato means long, elongated, and smoothly connected. So let's imagine a faucet of water. We turn on that faucet, the water is running. We're going to swipe our finger right through. The water's still going, but it's slightly being separated smoothly by our finger. That is going to be our air and our tongue. So our air is that water consistently moving, and our tongue is going to just slightly separate it at the tip of the reed. So let's do it together. On our concert B flat, our G and our C. See how it slightly is separated, but it's not dramatic. It's not stopping the note. That is what we want for our legato. Now we're going to talk about our staccato, which means short and separated. So it's going to sound more like dop, 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 dop. But how do we do this? So we're going to stop our air with our tongue for just longer than a legato. So it should sound like this. And I'm not stopping my air each time. I'm not going because that's tiring. And also it's not correct. So we're going to stop it with our tongue. Doot, 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 doot. Just like that. Now we know how to articulate on our concert B flat. Now these articulations can be transferred onto any note that we play. So if it's a D, G, A, B flat, no matter what we're playing, we can always do it. Here's an example. We can always play our articulations because it's just how the mouth is moving and how our tongue is separating the notes. Awesome, we just learned a lot about our saxophone, but now we're going to learn how to put it away. So just one more thing. So I'm gonna first take the neck and the mouthpiece off. And I'm going to take off the mouthpiece, put our neck away, and then we're gonna take our reed off. And we're going to make sure that we wipe our reed off because we don't want it to get any gross bacteria on it. And this is where we would take our cleaning kit and make sure we put the little fluffy thing down the instrument, make sure all the condensation is out. And if we have a rag or something, make sure we clean our mouthpiece out as well. And I'm going to tighten the ligature back just so that it doesn't fall and it gets lost somewhere, because that is an important part. Now, once those are back, we are going to take our neck strap off, put it inside of our case. My instrument came with this. I'm going to just tighten that back. And then the body of our instrument is going to go back. Make sure that it is secured and latched or zipped, however your case works, and we are good to go. Hey y'all, thank you so much for learning about our saxophones today with me. We learned a lot of information, but I'm just going to recap 2 important points. When we put together our instrument, make sure that we have that concert G, so make sure that our embouchure and our aperture is correct and that we can play our G so we can put it on the instrument and sound beautifully as we play. Also, when we pack up, make sure that we get all the condensation out that we can from the instrument. We do not like the M word, mold, here, and we want to make sure that our instruments are healthy so you are healthy and your playing sounds even more beautiful. Thank you so much again, and I can't wait for the amazing sounds that are going to come out of your saxophones. Keep practicing.